Joining us now to talk more from Jerusalem is Alex Traiman. He's the CEO and Jerusalem bureau chief of the Jewish News Syndicate and host of the Jerusalem Minute. Thank you so much for joining us. So the other big takeaway, besides just saying that the United States betrayed Iran from a diplomatic perspective, he also said that the United States is fully responsible for the consequences of its strikes on these Iranian nuclear sites. What kind of threat do you think he was trying to get across?
Well, while Iran should now get the hint that they should cut their losses and enter into negotiations and negotiate their way out of this mess, the Iranians could hit at American sites throughout the region, whether in Iraq or elsewhere. They could hit at naval vessels that are patrolling the area. They could strike potentially at other nations in the area, including the Saudis, including Bahrain, including United Arab Emirates, and of course they could continue firing at Israel. So we don't know what Iran is capable of. We don't know if they have biological weapon, chemical weapon, a dirty nuclear weapon. So there's still a lot that could be on the table.
And of course, we know they have so many proxies. You can rattle off a few of those, and also hit on, the radicalization that they could potentially even do from afar. We're talking about these naval assets in the region, but technology is a tricky thing and has really changed the landscape too.
Oh, absolutely. And there's no indication yet that this is over. We don't know how far this is going to go. The president of the United States mentioned that the U.S. military has many more targets. They could be hit more easily than Fordo, the president said. And Israel has been continuing its strikes against Iranian military installations, even as early as this morning, taking out the Iranian Air Force and also missile launchers, as we see that Iran continues to launch ballistic missiles at the state of Israel, as well as drones.
Yeah, and right now we're looking at Iran's regional affiliates there. We're taking a look at the map. If we can now show, we have a full screen showing Iran that is eyeing shutting down the Strait of Hormuz. Talk about just how big of a deal this could be. It handles 26% of global oil trade.
Absolutely. This is one of the world's busiest waterways when it comes to commercial oil, and it could send the price of oil skyrocketing, which would cause, economic inflation essentially on the entire world. So it's an economic form of terrorism. The United States had previously put sanctions on Iran, economic sanctions. This is a way of Iran putting economic sanctions on the rest of the world.
We just spoke in our last hour to an Israeli American living in Israel. She says it's important for her. She wants to stay there with her family. And she tells us there are other Israelis that are trying to get back to Israel. I think I would be running in the opposite direction. But it's an act of solidarity, and it shows you just how deeply the passion for, and how much this is just ingrained into their identity. But there are Americans who are in Israel right now that want to get out. And we have the ambassador, Mike Huckabee, the former governor, who has said, he posted on X, we want to help you out, but we need to know where you are. So there's a form on the government's website that he's got on his X page that he's linked as well. And he said there aren't very many trips out. So if you get tapped for one, don't be choosy. Take the one that's there. How are Americans getting out with airspace being closed?
Oh, yeah. A good friend of mine this morning who was a student at a post-high school program is now going through Egypt to get to the airport to fly back to America. There are various individuals trying to get through the Jordanian land border, which is also open, in order to get to Amman Airport and get a flight out. The United States Embassy is working on getting people out via ship also, off to Cyprus, where they could then get flights out. But as you mentioned, there are many, many more people trying to get into Israel, which I think really demonstrates the resilience of the Israeli people. You'd think that people would be running for the hills, trying to get out however they could. Instead, Israel's been running an operation to try to get as many as 100,000 Israelis stranded abroad back into the country by plane and by ship.
Gosh, I just got chills. I mean, I can't imagine feeling that way, but they clearly are. CEO in Jerusalem bureau chief of the Jewish News Syndicate, Alex Traiman, thank you so much for your insight today.
Thanks for having me.